Introverts, how did you meet your girlfriend? Met someone that realized I was too shy to make a move and aggressively flirted with me and hinted all the time. Need me a freak like that. I nearly choked on my drink after reading this. Thanks. Met at work. She approached and made the first move. Oh, you are approaching me? I can't love the shit out of you without getting closer. We worked together. I wasn't really interested at first. She seemed a bit standoffish. But one day she stayed after work and hung out talking to me. I invited her to a 4th of July cookout at a friend's house the next day, as my crush couldn't make it. She said yes and was very touchy-feely with me. I was oblivious still. One of my friends at the cookout suggested a few of us go see a movie the next day, and she said yes. When we went, she sat next to me and kinda snuggled up close. Still oblivious. After the movie, she hung out with me at my apartment, sat on my lap with her honey my chest, and watched Red vs Blue with me. She was cold and asked me to hold her. She put my hand on her ass, and I was still oblivious. It wasn't until she left at 2 AM that I realized what if she's into me. I told a close girlfriend of mine, and she almost hid me for not asking her out. So I called her up and she said yes. We've been together 7 years now. I was both an introvert and an idiot. When guys say we don't catch signals, we really don't. It's still kind of hard to tell. She might be Canadian and just being polite. Okay, I'm Canadian and keep hearing this meme. What's it from? Also, this is hilarious because I too once cuddled a guy watching our video evening, and he still asked, "Are you sure?" when I finally kissed him. My girlfriend is an extrovert. She introduced herself, and I made an uncomfortable joke about how, since she doesn't know me, I'm Mr. Anonymous. We've been together for 5 years now. I threw pistachios at my now husband because he was sitting at the bar playing hard to get. This is my favorite story here so far. She just walked up to me and started talking. It never stopped. Guys, help, she's still talking. #OH no. Please leave, woman. I'm sure this is a rare one. But oh my god. 6 years ago, I used to use the website a lot. Chatting with girls. I met my girlfriend on the site and starting messaging each other a lot. Then Skyping. It turns out she was planning on going to the same college as I was, lived in the same state. Now we have been living together for 2 years. Lucky bastard. The thing is that he will never know if she really is who she pretends to be. Considering that he met her on Omegle, she could also be one of these old dudes who wank in front of the camera, disguising as a woman, pulling off the most convincing catfish the world has ever seen. Moved in with her and her roommate. I essentially Stockholmed her into liking me. Hold up. Wait a minute. Same way I meet all my girlfriends. Every time we ran into each other I gave her some cake, so she would eventually associate me with the joyous feeling of cake. 2 to 3 years later they are all mine. Edit. Spelling. You can speed this process up with heroin. Just FYI. God damn it. I'd give you an award if I had the funds. Haven't snorted in a while. Thanks. Through a mutual friend. We've known each other since 2011, and I had a crush on her since day one. We used to cuddle a lot after parties throughout the years, but I was too scared to ask her out. In 2018 I asked, said mutual friend, if he thought she'd like to go out with me. He just straight up asked her. She said that she would like that, but I was still too scared to do anything. She got tired of waiting for me to ask her out and asked me out instead. Turns out she had a crush on me all that time too. We are engaged now. That's adorable. Glad you two were able to get together. She met me, followed me home, and never left. They are human, right? No, it's a killer tomato. Currently single, but in the past, it usually came about because we were in the same marching band friend group. Another happened because we sat next to each other at college orientation, and we hit things off from there. It usually came about because we were in the same marching band friend group that's oddly specific. Was this a semi-regular occurrence that happened multiple times? Most of my high school friends came from marching band. Of the 4 people I've dated, 3 of them were from band. It's one of those things where proximity can result in romance. It's actually a very easy answer. I didn't. Relatable. I got drunk at a bar multiple times. Gave me the courage I needed to speak, and now I'm married years later. Time to try alcohol. I also developed a drinking problem and ended up quitting in 2013, so tread lightly, but yeah, if it wasn't for drinking I would have never left my house, haha. Dating site. Wife now. Look like that thing do actually works. It does. Same story for me. Married. Been together for 12 years. Through Tinder during COVID. Honestly, when we first matched I thought she was a bot, or she was just looking for entertainment during COVID, so I didn't text. A couple of hours later I get a message from her asking about my name, and then we took off from there. Due to our distance though, we already been on 2 dates, and planning our 3rd. Here's hoping we become official. GLHF. Gandalf licks Hobbit feet. High school band class. Most of the girls there had a lot in common with me and were introverted too. Actually, band girls are quite extroverted. Just ask them about band camp. So this one time at band camp, my close friends and I met up for drinks before a house party, and one of my friends brought their course mate. Usually I have trouble in being confident and outgoing around new people, but because I was comfortable with almost everyone there I acted a lot more chill. Cracking jokes. Doing stupid shit. Basically my true self. She told my friend that she thinks I'm good looking, and it took me a good 2 hours to come up with the courage to talk to her. Anyway, we've been together for almost a year now, lol. It is hard to me to be myself. I always try to say or do things that I would not do so that people see me well. My dude. Being yourself is the most beautiful thing anyone could ask to see. Your friends and people close to you love you for who you are. Even if you act a different way every so often, they can see through it, and they love it. Dating app called Whippler. Joined it. It's laid out like a set of octagonal tiles with the ones nearest the top being nearest to you, and as you go down they get further away. Sent a message to this girl that wasn't too far away from me and asked if she'd be up for chatting, and once she said okay, we had a brief chat. At the end I asked if she'd be okay with me messaging again, and that was okay, so we built up our conversations in terms of length and depth and went on a first date about a month later. We've been together almost 4 years now. I'd like to try a dating app, but I just don't like tagging pictures of myself, which you need for most, if not all dating apps, so unless I can overcome this, I have to find another way. No, I'm not ugly or beautiful, I'm just average, but pictures make me uncomfortable, same with hearing my own voice. I was the same for a long time. I think one of the easiest ways to get comfortable with taking pictures is to start off with figuring out why. I've got a mole on my cheek that I don't like, so a lot of my photos when I went on dating sites had me in makeup that hid the mole or distracted from it. I had goofy hats or sunglasses on in some of them to distract from the mole. Some of them were taken from the side, so it wasn't visible. Things like that. My girlfriend is the same. She's not fond of taking photos, partially due to some scarring on her neck from a cancer operation from when she was younger, so she tends to use filters or wear clothes that hides that, and she sometimes uses poses that don't show the scarring. I know you've said you consider yourself average, but maybe there's still some wee physical thing that you're insecure about that's holding you back. Doing stuff like this isn't a great long-term solution. No one should feel forced to hide bits of themselves, but it might help you get used to taking pictures of yourself in the short term. The more you take the pictures, the easier it gets, and you might eventually get to a point where you feel comfortable enough taking pics without the gimmicks hiding the insecurities. I hope the story of how I met my now husband is okay for this post. I was going to therapy and was encouraged to go out to events and parties. I met him at a university holiday event, and we both volunteered to visit and give donuts to kids in the hospital. I pulled myself together and went to every party or hangout I was invited to. We got to know each other Got drunk with friends one night and we started to making out. Then we went on a few dates. It slowly became serious. Our first dates were pretty easy going, since we already knew each other, and the dates were more fun than a scary interview. We just celebrated 2 years of marriage. She asked me if she could come over. I said yes. She practically didn't leave for 3 months. And then she left. Straight back to her ex. Not much of a loss though. Oh man. Don't worry, there are a million more women. Don't care about someone that didn't deserve you. Damn, only a million. That explains some shit. Girlfriend? I don't even have a friend. Edit. Thank you for your support, fellow redditors. I don't know how to start a casual con with people. All I wanna do is intellectual talk about space, quantum mechanics, etc, and no one is interested. So I'm left alone in groups most of the time. You can be my friend. Thread for me. Okay, so me and my girlfriend went to the same junior high nearly 6 years ago now. I was 12 and she was 13, and me and her only shared one class together. And I also had my best buds in this class. We all sat in the very back and would just bullshit around and make gorilla noises at each other. I don't know why. We were 12 and it was funny, I guess, and she would always turn around and shoot everyone looks, and developed a crush on her. And since we were both introverts, we never really talked, and I never conveyed my feelings to her. But when the last couple weeks of school rolled around, I found some courage in myself to start waving at her and smiling, which would lead to small conversations, which lead to me tapping her on the head when I would come into class. And it wasn't until the very last day of school where she told me that she liked me, which then led to a very awkward hug before leaving school. And then another few weeks of awkward Facebook messaging. And nearly 6 years later, I'm 20 now and she's 21. We now live together and have a beautiful 2-year-old daughter. Are planning on buying our own home within the next year or so, and to hopefully get out of our hometown together. I love our story, and I thought this was the perfect thread to share it in. Hopefully it doesn't get buried. Thanks for reading. AWW. This is so cute. By talking and meeting new people. Just because I'm introverted doesn't mean I don't do these things. Reddit thinks introverts never talk to people. It may not be our favorite thing to do, but it's not like most of us are shut-ins, as much as people joke about it. Reddit conflates social ineptitude and introverts. So you read all the sex-related questions on this sub over the last few days, but have run into a problem. Wait, who am I going to sex with? And here we are. Heh, I feel attacked by this comment, but I like it. We met at work. I was shy, and she just randomly came up to me one day and asked if I wanted to be her friend. We hit it off there, and then but I started to catch feelings not long after. Turns out she felt the same way, and we are now in a relationship and I couldn't be happier. Those of you who are still reading this know, I'm completely bullshitting. Of course I don't have a girlfriend. I'm an introverted, shy and oxygen wasting organism who only has an imagination to keep my spirits up. Not gonna lie, you had us in the first half. Overcame my fear of rejection, manned the duck up, and started failing at chatting up girls. Not even chatting up, just talking to random girls. After a while I lost my fear, gained confidence and got a girl. Getting the right girl is actually the last step in building your own confidence. So I would suggest that starting right now, make a conversation with every person you interact with. Just something small and easy. Just one line to the next person you see, and build from there. HMN. Looks promising. Might also be how I overcame social anxiety, but that's a TED talk for another day. Met her in HS. I was able to slowly get to know her. She was a friend of a friend in our friend group. I slowly got used to her. She became one of my closest friends. A friend in the same group did have the courage to ask her out. When that ended several years later, we were still friends. Then we got together. By that time I had been in the army a while and was able to grow a pair. I'm still an introvert on the inside, but I've been able to get up and talk in front of 250 people. I would have rather have been in my office with the door shut. but you do what you have to. My advice is to be a chameleon. You can be an introvert, but you should be able to play the part of an outgoing fun person. I do a lot of matching the enthusiasm of the person I talk to. If someone gives me a big, happy hi, I shake my head and blink like a bomb went off and say hi. After a while, you can be confident and outgoing in public, but go home and hide in the basement. An old introvert at heart, but like you, realize that I have to be social to get anywhere in the world. As you get older, push yourself out of your comfort zone and gain more experience. You become more knowledgeable and confident. I can and have stood on stage speaking in front of 200 people I don't know and think I did a good job. Improved kidnapping method. Testing out that Stockholm Syndrome theory. She basically chased first. Gotta give it to them Southern girls. They always get what they want. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.